You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, we are YBMchat Podcast. Instagram at YBMchat. You can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts at YBMchat. Hey, it's Dashia D.
Hey, it's Cassondra.
It's your girl, LadiiNova.
And we are
YBMchat.
young Black millennials offering you a fresh new take you didn't know you needed.
Yo, so first off, I know y'all noticed, y'all didn't hear Tre'Dub. He out living his best life in Puerto Rico. Can't say I'm not jealous. He's drinking mimosas and whatnot, but it's okay. So this one is for him. Boy, don't nobody care that you out here having fun. I'm just here.
Salty.
I am very salty, just sitting here in a onesie, looking out my window at a bunch of badass kids. But keeping with the spirits of boy, I'm just gonna say that 2020 is officially starting now. So happy New Year, because them first 2 months was straight up trash. We got nothing but a bunch of death and horrible things happen. I forgot to mention Pop Smoke in the last episode. I didn't listen to his music. I heard about him, but that doesn't make it less sad that he was only 20 years old. His life was taken from him so quick. So it's been a horrible first 2 months, and people just don't know when to stop, because on yesterday we had some coonery happen with an NFL former player by the name of Jack Brewer, who decided to let it come out of his mouth that Donald Trump is the first Black president.
No, sir. Try again.
I don't understand how he thought that was correct. And he had a plethora of other Black people that was just like, yeah, woo, that's right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So he followed up that notion by saying on a Twitter page, being African American is determined by your lineage. Being Black is determined by your willingness to serve and defend the Black people. Now, this young man he's not even a young man, he's 41. Now he's a pastor. So guess who won't be leading me anywhere? Because he is not my shepherd whatsoever. Second off, those of you from Texas, because he's from Fort Worth, Texas, take his ass right on back. We don't need that type of disrespect happening. We don't need him opening his mouth anymore. To my siblings, to my bae, I'm sorry, but he's making y'all Capricorns look stupid. Very fucking stupid.
You can be an ally to a group of people and not look like them. So his statement about what did he say? Pretty much people who are fighting for Black people, that makes them Black. I don't understand the logic, his logic behind that. It makes zero sense.
But Trump isn't even fighting for Black
exactly
people, you know? So if that was the case, I would have been like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, he down with Black people, but he doesn't even like Black people. So that was just far-fetched. But you know what else, though? Do you think he said this just to start conversation because people will be pissed off, you know? Just because, like, we're talking about it. That's probably what he wanted, you know?
No, I've seen other tweets where he met him on other occasions.
Oh, this is real.
Like he's like he was a Democrat all his life, and now he's no longer a Democrat because of this and how Trump is doing things. And he was like, he got his vote because he saw that Trump stood up to have prayer back in school. Honey, how long has everybody else been standing up to have prayer back in school? I don't really understand how y'all can take prayer out of school when people can pray within themselves, or if a teacher would like to pray that they could. But you know, it is what it is. Hate to say this next thing, but that's why things are happening in schools, because y'all took prayer out of them. But you know, that's none of my business. I try to chop it up to him having like a bunch of hits in football, and you know they don't take head trauma seriously, but he seems to be out here well spoken, quote unquote. So I just tossed that theory out the window.
I think that's why it's important to do your own research on candidates, you know? Don't just go based on what other people say or what your church members are saying to you. You need to go to their site and do your own research to see, like, do your values and morals align with that person and the things that they're speaking about doing?
It's just ridiculous.
Because he might be bringing prayer back into schools, but he's also cutting after school programming. So then where do those kids go? He's also cutting loan forgiveness.
Exactly. I need all of my loans forgive because I've been working on a lot. But moving forward with more of the tomfoolery, because he's got me upset. Cassondra, I feel like you might weigh heavily on this. There was a gentleman who had a birthday, and the video went viral that his girlfriend gave him the gift of cologne and rental property. But his words were, I don't want that. I wanted a Rolex or a chain.
Okay, well, take your ungrateful ass somewhere, because guess what? I can take all this back. Oh my gosh. I feel like some people just are so ungrateful. And then, like, what's the point? She didn't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's crazy because in the video, his friends was like, bruh, she brought you a home, like, whatever. And then other people were saying, like, the house was run down and that's more money for him to have to put into it. I'm like, okay, you put money into it, you get money out of it. It's a rental property. Like, she would, I don't know if in her mind, she was trying to be like Gucci Mane wife and help him establish something by giving him something to work with. Honey, that was a waste of your time. I thought she was ridiculous because she even said in the video, she was like, didn't I say he was going to say that? Well, girl, if you knew he was going to say that, then why give him a rental property? I don't even feel like y'all are on the level of a relationship to where you should be purchasing him things that are.
Wait, that was her boyfriend?
I believe so.
Oh, no. I feel like, no. I think they both, I don't want to say they're wrong, but I feel like there could have been things done differently. Like, if she knew, okay, he's not going to like this, or he's going to want something different, don't go out there and waste your time getting something that he absolutely didn't want. But at the same time, like, you could at least be very grateful and be like, oh my gosh, thank you. However, I do feel like this is a lot of maintenance and work. You know what I mean? Like,
I think you should go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think you should know your partner. If you know that that is not something that he necessarily wants to invest in, why spend that amount of money on it? Because I feel like if you have enough money to purchase a rental property, then she had enough money to get a Rolex. I don't know. I don't shop for Rolexes, so I wouldn't know, but I would think that it's probably about the same. And me, I don't like wasting money. First of all, I don't like spending money, and I don't like wasting it. So I'm not going to go purchase something in hope that that person likes it. If I buy it, I'm 95% sure that you're going to use it or want it. So.
But I also feel like she did it, not saying she was selfish about it, but she did it as in, like, okay, I'm spending all this money on a material thing like a Rolex. Why do that when I could buy you rental property and that can actually go towards something? Like, yeah, it might look good. The watch might look good, but, you know, like, I feel like she had some sort of, like, deeper intentions to it, not just, let me buy you this.
I'm sure she did, but clearly that is not the headspace that he is in. So again, know your partner. It might seem very superficial for him to just want to rock a rollie, but that's what he wants. Get it?
Yeah. And that's where, when I looked at the video, I'm like, okay, this is where you should realize if y'all should be together or not. Because clearly you're looking at another step in life. You're looking at something much bigger, and he's stuck on that one thing. Like, I'm going to go by the video of what it seems like. He seemed like he just wants to be flashy and show out, and that's it. And she's over here trying to build and have a life and go forward. Well, honey, time to end the relationship, both of y'all, because neither one of y'all is on the same track. It's never going to get there. And it's just crazy because, again, I put myself in these situations. I'm in a relationship. I love my partner, but I'm not about to be out here trying to buy a rental property when I already know what she's dealing with? It doesn't make sense. And I know she don't have the time, like, to put into it to go get fixed up or like have an inspection done and all that. That's more work on her. Even with little stuff, that's like, I don't know. I can't say would have the same reaction if she bought him a car. Now he gonna be complaining because he got to put gas in the car. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get maintenance done to it. But you know, niggas.
But yeah, you're right. But also, who's to say he doesn't want that? Like, he probably does want to move on and have a house. But if that's something that he really, really wanted, like, okay, I just wanted to watch, you know, like, you got all this stuff. Yeah, it's good, but that's not what I wanted. Maybe he, you know what I mean? Like if I give you a Christmas list, a wish list, and I just want one thing off that list, and you give me everything but that, it's like, all right, well, I appreciate it, but that's not what I wanted.
Well, he looked like he was up in age, and honey, it's saying like the old folks, it's high time. You need to start investing in doing something, and you just want to roll me in a chain. So sit your ass down. I'm sorry, I'm petty. We would have been breaking up because clearly you're not trying to move forward. You still want to be in a child's space. So it is what it is.
Speaking of interesting purchases,
Uh-oh.
neo soul songstress Erykah Badu decided to package her vagina into a scent for incense to be sold. They were sold out in a matter of 19 minutes. She refers to the incense as Badussy and premium incense.
What the heck?
Yeah. First of all, who's buying this? Who? And then who wants? First, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, you step into somebody's house and you're like wafting the air. And it's like, what is that? Did you get that from Bath and Body Works? What is this new scent? Okay. And then they turn to you and say,
it's funny.
Vagina scented.
That's something I would get. That's something I would get as like a prank type thing or something to make my mama mad because I know how to agitate her. And I can see myself like purchasing one and be just sitting there and my mom like, oh, what is that? And I just snickering like, but
you know what though? I wonder if people's curiosity went off. You know, because I feel like I wonder if people are just curious. Honestly, I feel like I would buy one because I'm so curious. Like, does it really smell like that, or is it like more like of a sweet? You know what I mean? Like,
she took her underwear, cut it up, burnt it. No, you can keep it.
I will say this. One, Cassondra, she's not the only person who's done this. Gwyneth Paltrow has also
I was about to say, Gwyneth Paltrow has a candle that's restocked called This Smells Like My Vagina. Very creative name, but that's what it's called.
Yeah. But I guess people also like the idea of, oh, I get to smell a famous person's vagina without actually.
Who wants to?
This is where I'm about to bring it up. I'm not even about to make it that body part. But y'all are fans of Beyonce. What if she says she was gonna make her sweat into like a thing of mist? You have people who are that, but you have people that are in the beehive that is their whole life. They don't work. Their life is putting up a blog, posting everything Beyonce, collecting everything Beyonce. If she came out and was like, I'm about to have a spray mist that consists of what my sweat might smell like or sweat from the stockings that I dance in. Disgusting, but people would line up to go and buy it. Same way for Janet Jackson, that leather suit she used to dance in. Well, I can't remember the song, but I see it. I see her doing the dances in my head. They would do it. But, you know, fortunately for me, my wife just made makeup. And I don't worry about that stuff.
what do you think makes that different than the sweat rag people want? You know, when people are on stage and they like dab the sweat and it's like they toss it to people. That's disgusting. But it's like, oh, I get to have this because it's a part of them.
And people
And
would keep
so
that
she
and not
can't
wash
give out.
it. I said people would keep that sweat rag and not wash it. They
Yeah,
it
that's what I'm saying. Like you get a part of that celebrity. So I feel like, and you know what I mean? Like she can't give out thousands of sweat rags each show. Here, sell thousands of candles and let people be able. It's disgusting, but let people be able to smell what your vagina smells like.
All I need from them is their music and movies and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't need it. That's it. That's all I need is
love what
music
mine is
and
doing.
movies.
I love what mine is doing. I hear accepting awards and tutorials for her makeup, and I don't even do makeup. I'm good on that. I don't need to know.
They could just ask Andre 3000 or one of them.
Oh,
It is what it is. But moving forward in today's topic, since y'all know we are part of the 843, which is the area code of South Carolina.
Chucktown, all right.
Almost like one person in the group here. Great. So today's topic is going to be on Gullah Geechee culture. If you do not know, that is something that people have been calling us for years, and they've been using it in a derogatory way. And we're going to take that back. So, as we would say in Charleston, I ain't even much care what y'all boy got to say about me at this point, because go ahead and give you a little bit of that. So here's a little bit of backstory on the culture. Sorry if I'm looking off. I'm trying to read like I'm a reporter, but y'all know I'm ratchet, so it is what it is. It is part of the Sea Islands of Georgia that have retained ethnic tradition from West Africa since the mid 1700s. So really what it is once we were brought, or our ancestors, I should say, were brought over here, they tried to keep part of what was taken from them and mix it in with the English language. Um, Gullah is more referred to people out of South Carolina, and Geechee is for the islanders of Georgia because it's something called the Ogeechee River that passes through like between the Charleston and Savannah area. So that's where the Geechee comes from. Researchers say that these things stretch from Sandy Island, South Carolina, in which y'all would think I know these places in South Carolina, but I don't. I don't know anything. All the way to Amelia Island, Florida. So what's engulfed in it is like the language, the agriculture, and spirituality. So a lot of people who come to Charleston area mainly, they go to downtown Charleston and they get these sweetgrass baskets, and they call them like banner baskets, and I guess that's what they use to like I've seen them doing it with like rice and grits grains, like, I guess shifting things around it. The sweetgrass baskets was to store their food, firewood, and to hold their laundry. So that's something that still goes on in the Charleston area. So all it is just like things passed down from West Africa, kept it here, trying to keep it alive as much as we can. And I don't know, I just think it's the best thing ever. If you don't know, the best way for our millennials who may not know, go back and watch Gullah Gullah Island, because the mother and the father are from South Carolina. Um, I want to say it's a dad who's from Beaufort. I could be wrong, but they're still out doing things in the Georgetown area, going around speaking about like trying to keep the language alive and all this other things. And now schools are making it part of their curriculum to learn Geechee Gullah. Harvard and Yale have it. Not quite sure how I feel about that yet, but it is what it is. So, what does it mean for the two of you ladies to be Geechee or Gullah?
Okay, so I have this book. It's called, if you guys can see it, it's called The Gullah, Rice Slavery and the Sierra Leone American Connection. And just pretty much in the story, it just talks about like the different languages. I mean, like different culture and stuff like that. And one thing it talks about is people made the mistake of calling it broken English. And when I went to school at Francis Marion in Florence. People will always tell me, "Oh, it's just broken English," or it's just wrong. And it's not wrong or broken. In the story, or in the book, it says that it's just languages with their own systematic grammatical structures. So it's a legit language, and they understand each other. It's not broken. It's just different. I mean,
yeah, like I said, when I looked it up, it said it was a derogatory term, and how I take that is you took our ancestors to somewhere they were comfortable, they understood each other perfectly fine, no issues, forced them to come here and understand what y'all were saying. Then you're upset because they try to pick up on it as much as they can for the benefits of surviving and having to deal with y'all's crap. And it's not sounding how they would say it. So now it's like, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It's broken English. It's what y'all are saying is just not right. It's not real words. They know what the fuck they were saying. That's all that matters. And if anything, I'm going to take quote unquote broken English over this, whatever's supposed to be the standard English, which I don't even understand how this standard English, but that's neither here nor there. That's just all. That's just the way my mind works. Did you have anything to add before I ask the next thing?
I mean, no, I agree with you. That was their way of communicating with one another. You can't expect them to kind of assimilate, which is what is expected of us today, in order to communicate whatever needs or things that they need to do with their family or friends or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because it's pretty much like how people do anyone who is Hispanic or any type of immigrant that moved from another country here, and then you get smart and was like, you need to learn our language. Well, honey, you're teaching their languages in school, so what are you talking about? Like, just so damn backwards. But
Yeah.
moving forward, like I started off in the beginning, I gave y'all like a little Geechee talk, Geechee slang. What are some words that y'all hear while y'all in Charleston, or phrases that y'all hear that's just letting our listeners know what Geechee sounds like?
I know one word I can't break out of saying is "in it."
Oh, in it.
No matter how hard I try, like I say it to other people who have no idea what that means, and they're like, "Huh?" And then I switch it. So "in it," for those of you who are not from Charleston, it just means like, "Huh?"
Please spell it for them. Spelling is important.
Well, some people say INNIT. Some people do INIT. Either way. But really it just means, like you're saying, right? So for instance, if I said, tomorrow's Monday, innit? Like, right? Like, you agree with me? Yeah, it's that simple. I can't break out of saying it. And then I still say ye to certain people just to irritate them. I still say ye, mainly to guys, which just is, it's just like, please, boy, please, or girl, please. And ye is just YEE. That's it.
Simple. Cassondra, what's one of yours?
I don't know. I think because, and maybe I'm like in this little Charleston bubble. I always think people are all like, you know what I mean? Like everybody kind of says or talks the same way. So when I do go out places, like they should say, you say something and they don't know what it means. So my favorite probably is acadunky, you know? So people be like, what? And I'm like, why are they acadunky? So you literally have to explain. And when I first said it, I was in school and they were like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? So I got frustrated because I thought they were trying to be funny. And I was like, okay, you know what this means. But then I had to remember, they're not from Charleston. So they legit don't know what this means. So I'm like, all right.
Would box be considered Geechee slang?
So, yeah.
Listen.
We had a conversation yesterday with Ted's friend Blake because I was like, oh, I'm gonna box you. He was like, you gonna what? And I was like, box you, jaw you, punch you, whatever y'all call it. And he was like, no, it's called a punch. I said, oh no.
Saying that?
Listen, I if something happens and someone hits another, punches them, in general terms, punches them, I have to like think about it before I say it, because naturally I want to say it, and he boxed him, but I'm like in a meeting, so I'm like, he punched him. Because I have to really think about it before I say it. Yeah, but that's more of like a slang term, I feel
But
like.
that's still, you know, like you don't think
That's
that
still
other people
Geechee.
don't know. Yeah. So when you go out places, it's like, well, what do you mean you don't know this? Like you should, and they don't, and it's okay. You teach them.
So clearly, I'm gonna say Geechee is more of a black thing, because I'm not gonna lie, if I heard a white person say it, I'd be like, even though they're from Charleston, that just doesn't fit. I'd feel like they're here being Chet Hank, Tom Hanks' son, trying to speak patois. Don't do it. Just don't. But I have a plethora of
Oh
things.
Lord, here we go.
Only because, so why it's funny to me is because when I was younger, it was like, you don't talk like that, so stop doing it. And then by the time I got to school, and people were like, oh, you from Charleston, you don't sound like it. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I hate that.
And like, you don't sound like how everybody from Charleston sounds. I'm like, well, I know how to turn it on and off. When I get home, oh, there is no stopping me. It's gonna come out. And I just be going. So one word or phrase, this is a noun, person, place, or thing. All it is a letter. E.
Boy.
E is for everything.
Everything.
Boy, he asks like, where did he go today? Oh, that boy, he over there down at the store. What? Like, what that E? What's that? Over there down at the store. So he went to the store. Another one, it made me laugh because who was it? 85 South, when they went to Charleston Forum, Chico Bean, DC Young Fly, and Carlos. They was like, Carlos was like, yeah, they got some fat asses around here. Chico was like, nah, we in Charleston. You gotta say they bunky fat up around here. So bunky, N-K-E-Y. That is a word referring to your very air. Like I said, up. That's Charleston. You gotta put up on everything. It is not just a direction. It just
she fat up,
it's
isn't it?
It's solidified.
Even just
everything.
going to bathe yourself, I'm about to wash up. What are you washing up?
See, and that's something I didn't think about. Like I would say that and be like, okay, washing up. It's natural to us.
It just adds to everything. Like you see somebody that's like just their clothes run down, all that. We don't say that. Boy, I see her in the store and she been tear the fuck up. Just
throw up from the flow up. Man.
Even down, like, bruh, I hungry. Down, like you real hungry. It just adds to what you're talking about. So,
I think even the way you say, well, other people will say Charleston, and I think people who are very geeky might say Charleston, like CHAASTUN, not Charleston.
I don't think I've ever said Charleston in my life.
Yeah, if I'm just talking, I'm not thinking about it. Charleston. I don't say Charleston.
Even, and I'm glad you said that. So even how I spell my name, and I always have to articulate my R, because when I spell it, I'm always like CASSONDRA. And so many people will put IA, so I have to say RA. Like I legit have to. And it happens so many times. So then I have, you know what I mean? Like, don't think about it, but so Charleston.
I guess. Well, so my last question, Cassondra, you pretty much touched on it when you talked about going to school. Were you ever ashamed of being called Geechee or being referred to as Geechee?
I was never ashamed. I think I've always been proud because my mom was always proud of it. I think I got more irritated when people used to make it seem like a bad thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, I wasn't ashamed of it. But when I first started working where I work now, I mean, let's just put it out there. These are like very articulate, like people, you know, and they're not Black. So they, you know, like everything's different. And I think we are going to talk about this in the next or a different podcast about code switching too. But we always have to kind of like, or I always felt like I had to turn it on and off. And you did mention this earlier too, lady, when you said, okay, well, I can turn it on, I can turn it off. I just stopped doing it. I literally like, so how am I talking to y'all? It's how I talk to my boss. You know what I mean? And I used to like try to say, oh, it's different, or you have to talk like proper or whatever because it's, you know, like that's just how it is. But now I'm just like, no, what I'm saying is not wrong. How I'm saying is not wrong. It's still professional, you know? So how I talk to y'all is how I talk to my boss, how I talk to my babies. I mean, so no. And I'm not ashamed. I think I'm more proud of it. And then it teaches them too, like you don't have to be the same, just be who you are. I mean, don't be ashamed of it. So
Dashia D.
why you look like that, Dashia?
Yeah. So let's go back. So I think I was in middle school, like I was 12 or 13, and I was a part of this arts camp. Okay, this arts camp was in West Ashley. A lot of the kids went to schools out in the islands or West Ashley in that area, predominantly white. And it's an arts camp. So let's just let that sink in. Now, at the time, I'm pretty sure I had a thicker accent, and I was way more geechee when I was younger compared to now. And I mean, I got so many comments from other kids of like, why do you talk like that? Why do you sound like that? Do you remember it's bread, Captain something bread?
Captain John's butter bread, so good in
Okay.
the brown package.
So, so I don't know if that bread is a Southern bread or a
It
Charleston thing, but like I would have sandwiches for lunch, and that bread was a part of it because that's the bread that we were eating at the time. And I remember them.
Rich. We've been too poor about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Listen. And they would even look at my sandwiches and be like, ew, what is that? What kind of bread is that? That looks nasty. So like they had comments about how I spoke, what I was eating, just all the cultural things that I cannot change. And it would irritate me because it makes you feel excluded and like you just an outsider, you're not a part of the group. And honestly, that was my first experience being in that kind of space because all year or school year round, I go to predominantly Black schools in a predominantly Black community. My friends are Black, my family's Black. Anywhere I go, everyone sounds like me and looks like me. And now all of a sudden I'm in this space of people who don't. And they let me know that it doesn't. And then one day I was at the camp for Broadway dance. We'll talk about that another day. So my dance instructor one day was like, oh my gosh, Dashia, I absolutely love your accent. Is your family from the islands? And I said, no, they're from here. They're like, you sound like it. And then all of a sudden, the girls in my class had a change of heart. And they're like, oh my God, your accent is so cool. But at that point, the damage had already been done. And I could not stand it. And then fast forward, I get into high school, you start to kind of become more of yourself. And I felt like, y'all know, like people be like, why do you talk white? Whatever that means. Why do you talk this way? Why do you act this way? So I feel like either I was too geechee or I wasn't geechee enough. So I don't know. My experience has been very interesting. But I mean, at this point, I speak the way that I do. My accent and my slang comes out way more when I'm with y'all or when I'm with my family because I'm comfortable and y'all are where my roots are. You know what I mean? So it's going to sound different if I'm working, you know, or I'm with people who are not from Charleston. So, yeah.
And that's the thing for me. Like, I went to schools with, even younger, with white kids, but as I got older, it was predominantly Black until I moved out here and I went to the school. But freshman year of college, I was in ROTC and everybody gathered around like, okay, where y'all from? Where y'all from? And I'm like, Charleston. And they look and it's like, these are Black students. And they're like, ain't no way you from Charleston. I'm like, why can't I be from Charleston? Because of how you talking. I was like, well, how am I talking? So now I've heard people from Charleston. I'm like, everybody in Charleston does not talk like that. Like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just don't go out and just, because some people associate it with being ratchet and loud. That's not me. But I can still be Geechee when I feel like it. And the one word they wanted me to say to clarify if I was I. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Say hi.
No, I. As
I.
in, I am. I'm like, what's, I said I. Oh yeah, you from Charleston. I was like, wait, what? How am I saying I?
I guess they do say I different. Like,
I'm like, I'm confused. I don't get it. But what Dashia D said, like when I'm with my family or I'm talking to my siblings, especially when I'm talking to Tre'Dub, it just comes straight on out there. I wish he was here for the episode.
Exactly, because
Like,
he just won probably.
He is.
It is no me getting away from it at all when I'm talking to him. I even had somebody like, when I was getting to know someone, this was before we even dating, they were telling their friend about me, and it was like, yeah, she's from Charleston, and all the back was like, ooh, you dating a girl from Charleston? I already know how they like, they loud, they ratchet, da da da. And I'm like, I'm just laughing because it was funny because I was on the phone, like hearing the phone, and I was laughing. I'm like, but that's not even me. It's like you took that and associated it with, okay, I've heard them talk like this, so she's ratchet, she's loud, uneducated. And I'm like, honey, I'm smarter than you, little do you know. But I still will come out with this language. With a girl, fuck you real quick, because I ain't even much got time for your stupid shit. But then I can reel it back in and still like be this person. And then all of a sudden it was like Dashia said, oh, I love people from Charleston, how they speak. Get the fuck wrong with all that. Like I don't got time for the wishy-washy. Like, it is what it is. But I'm not ashamed. Like, when I go home now, I get excited. I went to Checkers with my mom and my daddy, and all I heard was that coming out of the window. Y'all boy order, what number you had? I was like,
get excited. I'm home.
I was like, bruh, because I be in the house so much. And when I hear people talk, it's like, okay, it's just like y'all are talking. But when I go home and I get that little bit of ratchet mixed with Southern, oh, honey, I'm sorry. I thought you had this. Okay, baby doll, I'm going to go ahead and get it. Sir. Yes. I've been waiting for this. I was like, this is me. I feel so comfortable. Even when my girl heard it for the first time, she was like, babe, what was that? I was like, you get a different side. I said, I don't come straight out the gate with it. But now she just doesn't want me to say things. Like, she hates that. But any other time she hears it, she don't care. But I always get the, oh, are you Jamaican? Are you Haitian? Because of how I say stuff and then how quickly I can speak at certain times. I'm like, not that I know of. But now I do know I have like some part of Haitian in me, but whatever. So I'm like, this is how I talk. But now that I know the background of it, y'all say the islands and all that other stuff, yes, that I am an islander. And y'all gonna leave me alone about how I say stuff. If I want to drag stuff out, if I want to talk like this, because this is what you're gonna get, and you won't like it. But you know, they should even add something else before we like wrap up.
No, because it's going to turn into a whole other conversation. I just remember that a year or two ago, Cassondra and I had a very lengthy debate, which could be a part 2 to this. We don't know, but a lengthy debate about is Geechee professional? Like, was pretty much the gist of the debate, because I think her stance was I should be able to talk however I want to talk. Right? Yes. That's what she said. No matter what. And I said, yes, you can have an accent. You can say certain things. But at the end of the day, we live in a world where you do have to present a facade, really. Like, if you want to get a certain job or be in a certain field, you cannot go in there and sound a certain way because they might write you off. They might think that you're not as educated. It's sad, but that's reality. And I'm just being more realistic.
I would love to continue this as a part 2 because you're right. This will be a whole nother hour.
All right, y'all. So this was like a fun and interesting topic. It was quite educational. And for those of you that are listening, you have learned a lot of our slang. And now you should further understand why we say boy. Geechee like that. And that's what it is. So, please comment. Let us know if you know anybody Geechee or you yourself Geechee. What are some of your favorite things to say, favorite words? And if you are not, feel free to ask us any questions or just comment on what you liked about the episode. So, Dashia D, go ahead and do the proper way.
All right. Join us every Monday.
Like, subscribe.
Boy.
You're missing the member.
My bad.
The struggle is real. Y'all boy be easy.
All right. Peace out.